One of the keys to successful model building is being able to multitask. When you've got this many kids and a very, very busy family, you've got to make do with what you got. So we're going to make guacamole, we're going to drink a margarita while the rest of the family plays Xbox on TV. Come on, Zach, let's go get our airplane parts. Let's go, airplane parts. So we're going to work on the linkages right now. We've got the initial cutout for the servos done. The template that's here is made for the MKS servo. We're going to be using the KSD servos. That's cilantro, that's swordfish. What we're going to need to do is open this up a little bit and make a little bit more room for the lengthier KST servos. Then what we're going to do is center them and work on getting the linkage in there. So what you got here is the servos test fit. The forward servos are going to control the rudder and the elevator. The servos aft are going to control the ailerons. If you're like me, when you're cooking carne asada and fish, you want to make sure you leave the grill lid open so it doesn't overcook. So next thing we're going to do here before we eat dinner is we're going to make sure that we get our control linkages cut down to size. And we're just going to do a little quick measure here and show you how to get these things installed. I've got the carbon tube and I've got a length of stainless steel that we're going to use for the actual push rod. So here we have the lengths cut. Haven't even taken the wing off yet. We've just literally spot checked it. We know that the actuators are going to be right about there. We know the servo's right about there. Close enough for government work. It's a good start for us. Because we're not going to be cutting this stainless steel rod and having each end glued into the carbon, the entire length is going to run down the middle of the carbon rod. What we're going to do is we're going to create the keepers here that will actually attach to the wing push rods. We're going to do that first. We're going to slide the carbon on and we're going to leave this end open. So here we got the rods here. We're going to make these ends real quick, and we're also going to make some guacamole. So one of these is done now. I'll show you how to bend them. So what I do first is I take the pliers, make one bend, and what I do is I just simply this way and that way, and they're done. Amazingly enough, they match every single time. When you're making guacamole, one of the cheats that you want to use a nice La Victoria thick and chunky verde salsa inside your guacamole with a little Morton salt. And alright, guacamole's done. Push rods are done. Zach's done. Family's playing video games still. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we test fit. Oh, some salsa on that. We're going to make sure that we test fit the linkages, make sure everything gets in there nicely, and then what we're going to do is we're going to do a final measure, cut the end. Dinner time, let's go. How was dinner?
Yeah.
All right. Ah, let go of my gap seal. Ready to put it on?
Yeah.
All right, let's put it on. You want a videotape? There we go. One piece down. And we just trim the edges.
Yep.
Good job, dude. Thank you for helping. You want to do the scissors? You want to do the scissors?
Yeah.
All right. Show me how you do the scissors. Is that how it goes?
Yeah.
It is?
Yeah.
It is. Thank you for your help. Go.
Yeah. Yeah, I did it.
And you can be cool too. Alright, so dinner's over. We're going to make the linkages now. And for the ailerons, we need to make sure that the servo horn looks like this and not like that. So what we're going to do is modify this a little bit. And we're going to use this little drill bit from Dremel. And we're going to open this up. There's my Sharpie. And we'll make sure it fits inverted, upside down. Okay, so after you've done the drill, then what you want to do is you want to take a X-Acto knife and just twirl through here like nya, and make sure you open that up so that you can get the splines to show through. You don't want to damage the splines, and then when you do it correctly, it looks like that, and it sits nice and flush, and you'll be able to put a screwdriver. You'll be able to put the screws down on the top, and it'll align real nicely in there. Alright, next step is we're going to get this awesome receiver out from Airtronics. We'll pop the case off. 2 batteries here, both of them fit. I think I'm going to use this one to set it up, but I think I'm going to use this one for the final build. It's a little bit heavier. It's going to fit in the nose real nice. They're both single cells. We've got the program chosen right there is the plane we're going to use. And we're going to get the servo centered, and that way we'll be able to measure the linkages and get those installed. Alright, it's got the receiver, it's bound, got everything plugged in, the servo's ready to go, we've got the thing programmed, things are moving the right way. Now what we're going to do is get these cinched down, and we're going to get the servo horns cut. We're going to get things ready for the install. They're still playing video games, and I've got the first horn on. We made a little bit of a mod there. You can see that I've thinned it out a little bit. We're going to clamp that down, and we're now testing to make sure that everything is got good clearance, and we're going to cinch it down, finish this part up. So now we got a reference hold with an X-Acto, and I've made it a little bit bigger with my Dremel tool. What do you got?
I got owie.
You got an owie?
Yep.
Okay. Do you want to go pick that up?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Let's go.
So we got this there. We're going to put the wing back on there, and then we're going to measure out the push rods, which I've now set for the 6th time. So we're going to test fit the actuators here into the wing, and hopefully you can see what I've done is I've rounded off the edges here, so I've made a little bit of a blunt edge. All the burrs are taken off to make putting it in easier on the field. Okay, so what we're doing here is we've got a piece of the actual push rod in the drill. I think this is a critical step. What we're going to do is we're going to drill into the brass, make sure that hole is perfectly sized for the push rod, and that way there's no slop. You do not want to use an X-Acto knife to open that up. You just want to make sure that that is drilled all the way through with the actual push rod. So after this step is done, you'll see that this push rod fits in there really tight. No slop at all. And if you ask me why I'm doing this, it's because I use a little bit wider than stock rod. Alright, so we've got our push rods finally installed. You can see in there, but each are hooked in, and I made the hole really small, so I used forceps to do that. Zach's got the carbon sleeve. I don't know what he's doing with it. Do you know what you're doing with that? No. So what we want to do now, you can see that we've set the push rods right on top of the servo horns, and what we're going to do is we're simply going to tape We're simply going to tape the ailerons to the neutral position, and then we're going to come back and we're going to make a mark on the spot that we want to make our bend. So you can see I've made the marks here. We're going to pull the push rods out. And obviously before we make the bend, we're going to get the carbon rod over this. So don't pull this out and think you're done and make the bend and then go, oops, we forgot the carbon sheath. That'd be silly. So the way I do this is we get the push rod correct in plane, get it clamped down right at the mark, and then we're going to bend that straight up. So when you're done, it should look like this. Alright, so we got the right model selected. We've got everything turned on. We still got the same margarita. Still got the same dirty boy. Playing still the same silly game. And you'll notice that I have not put the servos in. I've not fixed them to the fuse. There's no screws in there. They're just loose. And because we're making these bends, we want to make sure we still give ourselves a little bit of latitude. As you can see, we have this almost perfect. And we've got a little snap flap, a little right left. And so that's pretty darn good for now. So we're going to call it a night tonight, and we'll do the keeper wire. We'll glue the carbon in, make sure that there's some glue down the center line of that, and then we'll work on the balance. So that should let you know how to do the push rods. We're all good. So what we're going to do here is make the keeper wire. What I do is I get a little piece of carbon glued onto the torque rod, or the actuator, whatever the hell this thing's called. I get that started, tack it down with some CA, and then I just simply going to put this keeper wire down on the top, just like that. And I'm going to start wrapping and gluing, and we'll be done here in a second.
You go to the store to pick up the cake and get nail polish remover?
Carbon, wrap, cover. No chance, you guys, to put the keeper wire on the plane without this tool. Have to have it.